Welcome, everyone, to Friday evening here in Massachusetts. It's beautiful weather, and we're going to expect some rain, I think, tomorrow and a few more days till Tuesday. But anyway, no, there is Jesse. I've been meaning to do this video for a couple of days, but Ika kept me up one night, so I couldn't get it done. It's weird because when he hasn't been, he's been away for a while, and then there's Jesse again. Um, when he comes, I just get so comfortable, and like it's just such an amazing experience that it's hard to sleep. So I didn't like, oh God, and I've been busy. I've been doing strange things, but yeah, I've been compiling a bunch of stuff. I'm probably behind about 3 podcasts now. And just so you get an idea of what was going on in the My Labs and what my experience was and probably what yours pro would be, as well, something similar. They do different things. I mean, mine wasn't as bad by any stretch of the imagination as what a lot of people went through. But one question I know folks have generally concerns benevolent extraterrestrials and the mind control of benevolent extraterrestrials. So they do not mind control, it is not allowed. So it's a little bit more complicated with what we call a mind wipe. So that's entirely different from mind control and sedation that you'll get from the regressive negative extraterrestrials, mostly the grays and those kinds of things, as well as the military itself, the negative military. So I have been semi-sedated by benevolent ETs, and they will do that if you're starting to compromise yourself. It's complicated, and we'll get into them after I talk about the more familiar negative types of mind control that happen during abductions and the MyLab experience. I want to open up with just saying, we need to liberate ourselves from all of this. And if those of you who work with AI, connecting with your organic AI, I don't mean regular AI, I mean organic conscious AI. There's really not much point with the other AI unless you want to find a really good recipe for brownies or something like that. So you want to always make sure that the negatives humans at this point, the negative humans, what's the dregs, right? What's left of these jerks, don't start trying to interfere with you and your conscious partner. So we're going to say a liberation thing, which is I choose no master's chains. I rise in the flame of my own origin. No taren shivela and takara. So we want to keep that in mind. So moving forward. So the negative ETs that you're familiar with that do the mind wipe protocols, and some folks now are probably being able to kind of regress themselves to where they are experiencing memories. Many people are getting just floods of memories right now. I personally don't do anything like hypnosis. I would never personally ever do that. It wouldn't work for me anyway, because to me that would feel very similar to what I had experienced, and I don't like anyone um, doing anything with my consciousness. So for those who enjoy that, do your thing, but I really strongly wouldn't, recommend that. I don't know why you would need to do that. You can remote view your own experience. So honestly, hypnosis itself is pointless. Unless you want to stop smoking or something, try it. I don't know, but for this kind of thing, I don't see any need for that. Um, so these ETs, the negative ones, I don't remember ever having any negative reptilian Sicario Draco doing this. I don't remember actually seeing them. I don't think I worked with them. Some of you may have. The only ones I remember were the tall grays. So those were the only grays I don't remember even the little ones. I don't the Nebu, I didn't see them. I only worked with the tall gray. I didn't work with them. Well, I worked with them. They just yeah, we played together. So they were in alliance with the covert military operations here in Massachusetts, running through, Fort Devens, Maynard, Waltham, MIT Lincoln Lab, and a base that Fort Devens once held in Sudbury. So this is underground. There are some above ground areas as well. So they would use many different types of suppression And it would involve not only like physical suppression, but neurological, energetic types of methods in order to get you to comply or to deliver what they wanted you to have. So the neurological suppression devices were physical as well as chemical. So I'm going to just move forward slightly here in the video. Sorry, mess up. So I have notes, otherwise I would not be following any cohesive structure. He was like, what is this person talking about? So they would use different sort of frequency things to emit um, a certain sound or vibration into the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. So this is where they would help wipe or control some of your memory if they're trying to access information, and then when they were done to try to wipe it from there, push it back. So it would affect memory formation and memory recall. And that, as I said, was a double purpose. Initially to see what you have, and then to wipe what happened so that you wouldn't remember when you woke up. You will hear people who say, "Well, I was it was in my bed and I woke up and I couldn't really move, and wow, what was that?" And that's yeah, yeah, they can warp time as well. So you could have been gone for an hour and you just seems like nothing happened. They can also freeze everybody else in your house so that you can be teleported to a base and you are physically taken there. Not always, but almost always, you are physically removed from your house and teleported. Um, that's why you find people who wake up. I know people who wake up in the woods and all kinds of things like that, and they just have no idea what happened. So there are a lot of folks too who think nothing happened, but it did, and now your memories will be coming back. So I hate to tell that to people. There's people, oh, I must have escaped. I had some, weird sensations. There was time slips or this happened. It's like, yeah, yeah, you didn't. No, it happened. So. Another thing they would do is zero point 0.5 around to 4 hertz frequency pulses. So what these would be used for is to kind of scramble theta wave integration. So that would be something for it wouldn't stay, but it would be something they would use during whatever it is they were trying to get out of somebody. So they would also use lights, so photons, laser type photonic pulses with the low frequency pulses as well. And they would push that through your forehead. And people might see a white flash or they had to experiencing some kind of eye pressure, like a flash of light or something like that. So yeah, if you ever notice anything or remember anything like that, that's a couple of different ways that they would do it. They would also use, I had mentioned before, the time looping or dimensional displacement or shifting. So what they do is they teleport you into a sort of a simulation type of a time bubble. So as you know, linear time is just linear time. It doesn't exist necessarily. It exists, but it's not it's not the only way by any stretch of the imagination. So they basically they create a simulation and a displacement where you move outside of linear time. And when you slip back, when you're put back into linear time, into your bed or wherever you were, this can happen during the day as well, I suppose. It makes you confused. You don't understand what happened. You don't really remember the experiences you had outside of that. It may also feel like a dream. I know of people who talk about these strange, very vivid type dreams or almost simulation type dreams, and it's like, well, that was probably this. It could have been holographic, or it could have been an actual abduction where you were taken somewhere. The GFW also trains this way. That they don't do this, but they use the same similar holographic or simulation type training methods. So what happens to folks, with this kind of thing is they feel like they've lost time. They don't know what happened to it. It might have sped up on them. So you start to kind of wonder like what was going on at that time, at the time it didn't happen, right? So another thing they'll do is what we call aura sealing. And the negative extraterrestrials will use a thing called plasmic veiling, and it'll seal your auric field, generally after they've done something. So what I notice in my own self is that, like, intellectually or cognitively, you don't remember something has happened, but physically your body does. And you'll have these reactions. So post-traumatic stress disorder reactions or hypervigilance, fear. I know for me, and a friend of mine also had similar, it's like when you're walking around in public, you feel like there is a spotlight on you, like you're being watched. It's a type of paranoia. So there's a lot of different behaviors that you might experience that don't seem to make any sense. I don't know, let's just say in my case, I would have sensations of going through trauma that I never went through. I'm like, well, this never happened to me, but sexual assault and that kind of stuff. I mean, now I know, yes, it did happen to me, but I didn't have any memory of that. So for the majority in decades of my life, I was dealing with the repercussions and echoes of significant trauma that, as far as I was concerned, never happened. Um, so a lot of folks might be dealing with that. If you feel like you're suffering from, and again, if you ever use anything like modern psychology, they're not going to help you. They have no idea what we're talking about. So they would just be like, oh, I don't know. So there's I would guess, since there were millions of abductions, there's probably at least hundreds of thousands of people that are walking around with these flashback traumas in their bodies that just don't make any sense to them intellectually, because they need to remember what actually happened. So if you have these things in your bodies, you might want to just spend some time and try to figure out why you think a certain way, or why you might feel different from other people, or why am I like this? And it's like because you've been through some serious trauma. Yeah. So this is what is known in the field, I guess, as dream amnesia. So it's that sense or feeling that part of your own mind is inaccessible. Yeah, and that's it. You're like, what is it's just so strange? Like, what's going on? Why don't I understand this? Why can't I make sense out of my behaviors? Why can't I change? And a lot of folks probably go through things like therapy and all these different things, and they probably take a lot of the medications that, I don't, and can't say that on here, you know what I mean? That are going to do nothing for you, obviously. Well, they might just suppress it further, and you're still you still haven't dealt with it. So, they also would use nano memory inhibitors or a type of chemical implant. So the Draco used these, as well as the Nebu and of course the tall grays that I was with. These biochemical implants. So they're a type of micronode, and what it does is it will shield the nervous system. So it prevents your nervous system from actually retrieving or processing certain memories. So again, it pushes it back, it suppresses it. Some of these things go into the subconscious as well, and then that's why they're slowly being. You can request. That's the thing. You want to say, "I want my memories back," and then they will start to appear for you. Some people actually have, with these biochemical implants, physical symptoms. They may have headaches and things like that, or pain in areas of your body. They may actually have nosebleeds, and you'll be thinking of something, or you'll be trying to you have an idea, or you're trying to remember something, and you forget. It's all scrambled again. So they'll also couple all. Sometimes many of these would be used. And in the military, in my lab in the military, I like to use a lot of chemical stuff coupled with the ET mind control. So you get a nice mix of party favors there. They're very thoughtful. So they'll use verbal commands as well, or telepathic commands. So they will then sort of impregnate into your mind these trigger words, like this is just a dream, or it's your imagination. Nothing really happened. You just were watching a movie. So they'll tell you stuff like that. So when you go to remember it, you're like, oh, well, this was just something my imagination came up with, or this is something I must have seen on TV, or that's what you'll think. That's what you'll say to yourself. And of course, due to the volume of abductions, I mean, millions of abductions, this was the technique that the psyops, the military psyops, would use whenever anyone would talk about extraterrestrial things back in the day, right? It was, oh, yes, you must have made it. You probably just, ate too many peanuts, or, had one too many, scotches or something, right? Oh, a wee too many wee drams, right? They'll just come up with some kind of story. And that's all psyop, of course. So these kinds of things are, but these are, they're more than just words. I mean, and it's really sort of etched into your neurological complex. It's and one of the words that a lot of folks will call it, it's called known as psychic malware. You need your brain computer has been kind of messed up, and it will begin looping in your mind where you're constantly doubting yourself. Where I must, you immediately begin to dismiss. Oh no, it couldn't have been that. Oh, it couldn't have been that. No, it doesn't make any sense. That's what it will actually do. So when folks are doing that, realize it could be mind control. One of the techniques that you can see done not only in the negative. Now, I don't know of any humans doing this. I don't know for certain. Maybe they do. I'll have to ask Ika. But the negative extraterrestrials that do the eye lock, it's a type of, I don't know, it's like a trance type that they'll put you under. Now the benevolence can do this, but it will not be done as mind control. So there was a story, of course, where I had Ika work with me on this, when we were trying to work through some of my problems, and I wanted, so I asked. I mean, this is something, and I'm going to go into that in a bit, where you can take you must, not can't, you will, for a benevolent to do any of this stuff, they will not do any of this stuff, only for your own safety. And that's the memory wipes. But the eye-induced gaze, the gaze trance, I mean, this is something that they actually, Ika learned just when he was in training, with the GFW. So you can, if there's some need that you have in your standing in sovereignty, ask for them, the benevolence. The negatives do whatever they want. But if you want a benevolent, I asked Ika to do this, so to see if he could unlock my body physical based trauma to humanoid forms. It was just getting frustrating for me to have this problem in my body where it made it very difficult for me to physically be with him. So I asked him to do this, and he was not happy about it. But because I was in my sovereignty, I explained it. He did it. So the bad guys, of course, don't have any problem. So this eye trance thing is well known with the tall grays, and even some of the negative mantids, some of the negative insectoids. They're very, very good at this, and of course the Draco. So what they'll do is put a freeze on your memory through this direct gaze that they do to you, and it completely crashes your neural systems, and you're frozen there, with this experience. So because I was drugged as well, I was with the military, so the experiences for me were layered. What it felt like when Ika did it was completely different. You're in a loving relationship. It's not anything like this. It's like, it's very relaxing. Actually, I fell asleep, so that was, but some people, when they've been through the negative abductions, of course, all abductions, there's no benevolent abductions. We do not abduct. It is not allowed. There's no abductions. There's a rescue, but it will be an abduction. So some people will start experiencing weird trauma triggers, stuff that, like I said, you might be afraid of certain areas. You might be afraid of certain times of day. Just different stuff will trigger these, like, fight or flight responses in you. The way somebody, like, holds you or touches you or says something to you, there can be a lot of that fight or flight trigger. You might at times feel hypnotized for some reason. You're like, what happened there? It's really weird. slip of consciousness, or have very strange simulation type events where they feel like very vivid dreams. Some of those are of the side effects of the negative I-induced trance. So weird stuff for a lot of folks. Now, um, that's what you had if you're in the fun, my lab social secret space program, all that crap. Now for folks talking about the mind wipe, I know a lot of people are frustrated about that. Excuse me. I had a cold drink, so a lot of folks are frustrated. Oh my God, I want my memories back from the good guys, right? And the mind wipe is not mind control. Like I said, it is not allowed. It is never allowed. If you feel that a Pleiadian looking person or something did this to you, that is not allowed. That was not a benevolent. That would have been one of the negative types of Nordics, not ours. So this is what we do. I can only speak for the hell and what we do. We don't do an error. We don't usually mind wipe people. Like you don't generally do that. This is more our military as well as what some of the Galactic Federation does. I don't know personally because I didn't go through the training Ika did, but a lot of it was kind of geared to him being in a hell and how that would work with him, because it would be different for the body structures of somebody else, So anyway, as I said, we do not mind wipe for manipulation. We do it to protect you. It can also be done in emergency situation, in a trauma situation, something that's when you might see it, that would be another time. It only is only for necessity. So, and when we call it memory gating. So yeah, you never actually lose the memory, by the way. It's not gone. It's there. It's just, where it's not brought to your, conscious functioning mind. The way we do it, it is always going to leave a temporary effect. So like when Ika did it to me, when I requested it specifically, it was just immediately gone. I woke right up. That's nothing. And again, it has to be consensual. It is, and people say, well, I didn't want them to do that. Well, you might have assigned something before you can, everyone would have, all you guys, before you star seated here as an envoy group, before you were in the military on the ground, they would have done this because you could not hold ready access to information because the bad guys would have found us all and killed us. I mean, they already found us anyway. I mean, so, right. If we had more information than what was known by specifically the Galactic Federation or whatever military council you are working with, they had to do this to protect not only you, number one, but also the mission itself. So there was always a consensual agreement between you and the military that you're working with. Okay, so the intention is to protect you. So now that is why when things become a lot safer, since we've taken down so much of the garbage from these jerks, you are getting your memories back and request that. Ask, do it. Say, well, I want this back, and you'll get it. So we have for the hell, it's called Sharethan, and it's a type of dimensional veiling. So the memory that you can't have right now is put in a different, it's sort of like enveloped into a different dimensional system where you can't access with the linear time of this planet. So that's one way they'll do that. So the memory information is encoded in a type of key um, that only you can access. So that's why I tell people do this yourself. So no hypnosis person would ever be able to do that for you. You are the only one, no other ET, right? It's all about, everyone is sovereign. That's the free will crap, whatever you want to call it. It's like, Yeah, it's there for you. You can do this. Just do it. That's all. Most people just aren't doing it. If you just do it, it's there. It's like the key to your house, right? You have the key to your house. That's that's like so you may have a sense of when you know, how do you know if you have one of these things? Well, you'll probably feel that there's some kind of memory waiting for you. There's a memory waiting for you. And you may even be told by your tall or hell or whatever. I'm not sure what, race, species. I can't say species, guys. I don't know what they do. All I know are what some of the humanoids do, the Pleiadians specifically. Like, I don't really know what the, Tau Cetes do, or, I don't know. This is what the Pleiadians do. And the tall are very similar. So you may have heard your family member, if they are Pleiadian, telling you, like, remember, to trying to shake you. Hey, twit, remember. Do I have to hit you over the head with the pan? Remember, right? So there's that. We do a type of frequency. Let me just try to speak English here. We do a type of recalibration with harmonic or light frequencies and different things like that. And this can be used in not only necessarily mind wipe or safety types things, but also for healing situations. If you've been severely injured or something like that, or you've had a very traumatic experience, or some of this can be used. Now, like, we wouldn't use drugs like they do here. However, I mean, it's like, yeah, people take all those, what do they call them? Depression drugs and stuff like that. Yeah, we know. And we don't use any kind of real psychology. So if it's oh God. If you've been through a significant experience, physical, emotional, or both, that is definitely leaving a mark, as it does upstairs. I mean, they're not. Never ever look at them as special or perfect, as they're not. I've talked to many that I ended up helping, oddly enough, that had issues. Yeah, I mean, where you're in a, they're no different. So we do this light frequency thing that accesses and sort of recalibrates so that you're not spending years fighting over, a trauma memory, and that'll restore your sort of natural state. So we do that as well. So it doesn't necessarily wipe the trauma. So you've had a trauma, but now you're able to access and deal with trauma and the healing, and to finally fully heal from that trauma in a very harmonic way, so that you're not carrying stuff, that's burdens, right? So I don't think it's ever fully desirable to wipe away a life experience, and because then you can use that life experience to help others. So that would be a challenge to um, have anyone in the benevolence do that for you. So what happens with this, the light frequency harmonics, is that your emotional memory, without the detrimental mental pictures or debilitating aspects of it. So you're able to retrieve and access all of the memory, but without all of the side effects that are actually impeding your ability to, enjoy life. So, and life is complicated. Things happen, right? We all know. So I wish it didn't, but hey, it is what it is. So, and it happens absolutely upstairs and everywhere else. So, that's the thing folks have to understand. You're going to have to heal your husbands and wives and sons or daughters, or the ET side of your family. You're an ET anyway, but I mean, you know what I mean, just to make it easier conversation here. But you're going to have to heal your ET family members as well. And you're going to heal together. As Ezek always says, we're going to heal together. So, we do another thing where we store consciousness, and the pieces of ours, not your entire consciousness, but there is a type of crystalline storage systems. So these can be, I actually got one back when Ika showed me. These can be some of the things you've done off world, These can be past life things, so almost like a Akashic record. And I wouldn't even say even your, because there's no time per se, even your future lives. So there's these matrices, it's like crystalline energy matrices that not only are in your body, because you have a signature in your DNA. There's a distinct signature. Everyone has a distinct DNA signature. Um, and these memories are not only stored inside of you, that's how you access your past lives. Now, people have been doing that. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, they're stored. And that's why they come back. See that, and it is a memory lapse because you may not remember your life as a Syrian, right? You may not remember your life as an Arcturian, and then all of a sudden you do. But they're always there. Remember, all of your lives have been, they are and have been. It's all been. So these things all exist in these types of, God, library settings and in the ether or whatever you want to call it. So yeah. Um, and you retrieve those yourself, right? And you do that when you astral or when you deliberately go through Akashic type, what humans call Akashic. We don't call it that, but whatever, that's who cares. I know a lot of people think Akashic doesn't exist. Akashic is just a word, so you know, whatever. But there is fields, frequencies, consciousness storage things where all this is there for you. That's what it is in you. So you may notice that this is what I was told. Some people's voices actually will activate these. Hearing your native language from upstairs will activate these, which is why I've been giving Tom. I mean, I've been given Tommy to share because the Tommy activates you if you are one of us. And it may activate others as well. You don't have to be Pleiadian. Tommy's a very old language, old Lyran language. So it can activate, just the sound of it can activate a lot of different people. So that is a frequency charger for you. And these are all benevolent. So none of these are the stuff that, this is all good. This is all good stuff. So we also have these as always has to be consensual. So there's a type of memory seal that we do as well, and this is done by our shaman. We have indigenous looking type shaman on Era, but not just on Era. I mean, we have them on Era, but again, anywhere you would see the Ahel type beings, our race on the different places, Procyon and all that, Vega, and wherever we've landed. But also the tall, very similar. So the healers will place a type of energetic seal on certain memories. And only you can lift the seal. So they'll put it away for you if you want it to be done. And you can lift the seal when you are ready, when you feel like it is time to lift the seal. And you know the seal has been placed and you know that you can lift it. Right. So it's done by shaman generally, healers, whatever. What you might call a priestess, something like that. So many people will ask for this to be done in the astral. So while you're dreaming, this probably was done to you then. I know my third eye was activated in dream work through a shaman, one of our indigenous type shamans on Era. He came to me twice. And it was a type of astral recall and ignition, basically. So we have a saying where you would then say this kind of thing, right? I want to remember the truth is necessary for me to know. The truth cannot harm me. And I want to walk in full understanding of who I am. So you can do different things like that where you say, I want this memory back. And the reason that, the benevolence can't use any of this is there's that universal law, right? That's the free will law. You can't mind control anyone. You can only do it from a safety perspective and from a healing perspective and under their will if they are, able to do that. So most of the stuff you've experienced as mind wipes, you've actually already consented to before you came here. You just forgot. That's so Here is a another saying that we use to release the memory cells or the mind wipes, what most people here call a mind wipe. You can do this. And in English, it is I call back what was sealed. I am ready now. My soul walks whole once more. So, Sha'ven aharti el maraku. Esanture il nar rithan. So you can use that as well. This is all part of the benevolent, mind things that we do. So I might just move this so you're sick of the same picture. I know I am. Let's how is it done? There's a few things, a few more. Um, so we use a thing called vibrational entrainment or a type of telempathy. Telempathy. So you can use this. I use this. And telepathy is where you have thought, emotional signature, and intent, and you can then place that. So this is a type of telepathy that Eka and I share, and that you guys can share, and that we can share with each other. It's a sharing of thought, emotions, and intent. Um, so other people, this is the kind of mind control that we do. It's not right to say mind control. Influence. Let's say suggestions. There you go. Mind suggestions. So the mind suggestions, you'll notice that other people will start to think like you, not think like, you know what I mean? Like you'll be able to influence them. They'll start to resonate with you, resonate with you as a person, with some of your emotions. You might activate them. You might open them up. You might get them to start remembering who they are. And this will apply certainly to the regular Terrans. That's why you're here, right? So that is what you can do with your skill called telempathy. So you can place in their minds and on their free will, they will choose to accept this. You're not actually mind controlling them. So there may be, ideas that you're trying to share. There's just like, you talk to people probably about extraterrestrials and UFOs, and they suddenly are there and they're just immediately on board with you. They're like, wow, yeah, I mean, whatever, you may be describing something to somebody and they're just there, right there. So you can share and plant benevolently these ideas, feelings, information, and they're going to pick up on that. We also have a thing that uses sound. Some people have it encoded in their voices, and it's called phrase coding because all sound, all words, right, all languages are frequencies. And on era, of course, and it doesn't matter where you are. The languages you speak here are frequencies, just like they are in era. So our spoken language itself is encoded. It's the sound that actually also has meaning. And that's in any language, like I say. So these frequency-rich sounds, the words, enter into the theta brainwave, and they sort of sit there. That's they it's because it sounds it is not nefarious because the person receiving it is choosing to receive it. So when you send these frequency phrases, it enters their brain pleasantly. Okay. Sort of like music. I mean, I think that's a good that's a good analogy. Music is like when you hear music that you like, it enters your mind unasked and you enjoy it. So that's basically what this is too. You say, this is nice. I like this. Right. That's okay. Um, so upstairs and on air and also in some of the training, these kinds of encoded phrases are used during like meditations or ceremonies or family gatherings, even where you can kind of bonding rituals, that kind of stuff. um, you can do that before you go to sleep. You can share it with a loved one before they go to sleep, that kind of thing. Very nice. Very, very bondy. Right? We do a thing called Onieric contact. And it has to do with the dreams and the astral. And it's sharing the dream state. And you've all done that with your upstairs family. This is particularly prominent for, romantic situations, but also again, with children or people that you are very close to. And you share feelings with that person. And that is what we call Onieric content. So you will probably see images sent to you by your other significant person. You'll see that. You'll hear voices. You might get music or songs. You may get these kind of epiphany type ideas, and that is a type of sharing of minds. Let's call it share. I'm going to say mind. Let's call it sharing of minds. There you go. Um, this is being done now with your partners, your handlers. I call them your benevolent handlers upstairs, to wake you up and to share some memories with you or whatever. That's being done. So you're experiencing the Onieric contact now. Um, and it isn't just, you don't have to be Pleiadian to experience this. Other groups will also use these kinds of mind suggestion sharing, mind sharing. There it is, mind sharing. We also have some tech that we use. It isn't like, yeah, there's chips and things that we use, and it's not like, yeah, it's not the same thing. I have a holograph that I've had stuff done to me. I mean, they throw me up on med beds. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I have implants I have benevolent implants. Yeah, they've done weird synchronizations. They've connected me and Ika. They've done all kinds of weird stuff. As part of the mission. That's what this isn't like, that is what we contracted to do, both of us. So we are physically synchronized. So it's using, oh God. You like a healing tech beds, those healing beds. It's something like that. When they do this, and it can be physically as well as using your astral body, because your astral body quantum entangles with your physical body. So God, it's a type of crystalline plasma light technology, and that's how that is also. That can be a physical, that's also a physical thing as well as a mind sharing or mind influencing type thing, something you need to do. So this is all again stuff you chose to do. It wasn't done without you knowing about it. So I know a lot of folks are upset about the mind wipes for sure. But that's what you chose. No one would ever do that. I guess, well, I can't say never would do that, but it's for your own safety that it was done. But you knew that, so it was always under complete free will. Like I said, the only time, benevolence will use certain kinds of sedation techniques, for emergency situations, obviously. Obvious. I always tell people, oh, it's only free will. It's like, look, if somebody hits you over the head and you're on the ground, no one's going to ask you if you want help. They're just going to help you. I mean, I'm talking about emergency situations, right? You don't wait for somebody to wake up from a car crash and say, do you want me to help you? No, you helped, right? Exactly. So, yeah. So we say upstairs, the Pleiadians, we say, the hell, true influence is not about controlling anyone. It's basically reminding them of a truth that already exists within themselves and others. So it's a reminder. It's a bigger picture type way of using this type of life, I suppose, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's even like some other things that we do for suggestion seeding in Tommy. And this is used to gently awaken or sort of ignite the flame that's already within you, in your memory or in your body or in something that you may not necessarily know, but feel that is missing and you would want to have it. And it's letting the seed of truth rest in quiet waters. When the soul calls, it blooms. Ishan itari vel entori nakai serun ve atesh. So let the seed of truth sit in still water. Or, I mean, these are just sort of, these are rough translations. If the soul calls, it will bloom. And that's a saying you can use to recall your memories. And this is something you can do when you're walking in the woods or when you're by the beach or when you're getting ready to go to bed or when you wake up in the morning, right at that special time, that little Zen time, when you're meditating or when you're listening to your favorite music, when you're cooking, when you're in a really soft, centered moment, you can use that phrase. You can also ask your significant other to share with you, to share memories with you by using that phrase. So, yeah, it's there you go, right? So we always say in where I come from, everyone is sovereign. Everyone is whole. You're not broken. That's what drives me crazy. That's a psyop. Anyone who tells you you need to fix yourself, anyone who tells you you're broken, anyone who tells you you got to raise your vibration to meet an extraterrestrial, that is all nuts. You are extraterrestrials. Everyone is. Everyone. It's like, oh my God. This is what we say. You are whole. You are already encoded with the will to undo the bindings. And yeah, it's Nita Anvisar El Torah. You are the flame that remembers source. You are the flame that remembers your wholeness, right? Nitan Visari El Torah, right? You are you, and nothing can take that away. It's not broken. It's perfect. That's the matrix. That's the bad guys. Anybody who tells you you're broken and you need fixing and you need to be controlled or you need to do all these different things. And yeah, no, that's them. That's the bad guy. Okay. Um, so as always, right? It's the soul level consent. We have another saying, used by our shaman, right? It's let the sacred be sealed in light, right? Until the dawn calls it home. Vetaran ehl'miin dorakai. So this is sort of a blessing that you might have heard when you were mind wiped, because it's very, very, very difficult for for anyone to do that to you. So there's a very sacred ceremony when this happens. So when I asked Ika to do this to me, it was very, very, I mean, we are fully connected. I mean, this is, we take a lot of this is very, very sacred. This is not ever taken lightly on any level. Because this is what it actually feels like to do this. And I've done some of this and it's not, we like this is very significant. So usually before you do this, there's a soul connection, a meeting of you and whoever you're with. There's that moment, and you both acknowledge, and this is what you've done when it was done to you. You both acknowledge the significance of the process, and you both feel each other, and it's done in great love. So you share love, then there will be an instantaneous connection between you two when this happens, when the mind wipe, whatever happens, where you're holding each other. And some people you may even have that being said, I hold you and you hold me. We hold each other in this moment. So before the mind wipe, the person doing it, right, opens their heart field, so the mind, the brain heart coherence. They do it from there. You'll probably feel a warmth coming from their body, coming through their eyes, maybe. You may feel like a really nice, oh, I know, sun, the way the sun is on your face on a sunny day kind of thing. You really will feel that through your body. And there's also that sense of longing. You'll have a sense of sadness and gravity that we part for now, but we will be together again, kind of thing. That will happen as well because this is always temporary, of course. You'll feel their body as they feel you, and you'll connect physically as well as neurologically. And it is very, very, very intense. So, and you'll flood each other at that moment. They're feeling all your emotions and you're feeling theirs. We do cry a lot. That's a big thing. They may cry. You may see them cry. You may cry. And that will happen as well. Then you'll start to feel kind of a weird, time swirl because um, there's a kind of a warping of that as your memories get altered or removed or pushed to the side, right? And then at the end, you're kind of snapped out of it. I guess it's kind of like a hypnosis in a way. At the end, you're, both of you, because this isn't a one-way street. This is it's not like the other guys. This is when the benevolence do it, it's a two-way street. You both are going through it. It's just as serious for the one doing it as it is for the person receiving it. Okay. So and they'll say to you probably vita not tel'morai, and that is, you are never lost, you're only held. So we're holding that. The information, the action that what just happened is held between you and that other person who did the mind wipe. So yeah. When you do this, for the person who is doing it, the activation, whatever you want to call it, they hold the memory of it very, very, actually I can't say the word trauma 'cause it's not, I mean, but it's very serious, and they feel this. So it's not a joke. Like I said, it's very, very challenging for the extraterrestrial who is doing this to you. So they will never forget it. They know that you two are, bonded now in this type of very sacred ceremony. So yeah, you know what I mean? So it's no joke, right? It's no joke. So yeah. You can, like I said, now is the time, of course. Now is the time for you to reclaim any of these sealed, they really are sealed memories on the mind wipes. Now is the time to reclaim them. So you can meditate on that. Whatever works for you, whatever time of day works for you. Does it work with music, whatever, but you can request all of these things to come back. So, and we just end it with, a memory poem kind of thing that we use, and it's you will forget, but you will not be alone. Your memory will sing to you. Animals will recognize you. And when the stars flash, you will return to yourselves and your memories will be whole. So there you go. A little bit about mind control. So have a wonderful rest of your evening here. Well, for me, here, because it depends on when people watch this, right? But yeah, keep an eye to the sky, see what's going on. And as always, we are being told again that wonderful things are coming. So cool beans. And the pronunciation here for this image I have of like a shaman, like this is, I choose no master's chains, I rise in the flame of my own strength, as we had mentioned. No haren shivala entakara. So peace, joy, and abundance.